I'm really not ready to do a video, but this is a 10-pound cat that puts himself inside a little thing. Now, why would a cat want to go inside that? He's got a whole house to run around. And I've got a couple of guys in the corner here. All they want to do is play. All they want to do is play. It's a cat's house. It's a cat's house. They're cornered in. All they want to do is play. Hi. Oh, you are gorgeous. Hold on. Let me see. Let him see. Let him see. Show me that face. Show me that face. Come on. We're on TV now. We're on TV. Stretch it out there. Stretch it out there. Stretch it. Stretch. Stretch. Anyways, that's Whitey. Whitey is still turning around. Still trying to squeeze into that little box. Okay. So I'm fooling around here. I just want to show you something that I went to a party and I'm busy marking things down. I went to a party and I have, see this? This is, let me see. This is all scraps that I have to catch up with. So I'm like behind 3 days. And I was thinking of just putting this logo on my shirt, the Urantia world. I went to shul today. It's a synagogue. It's Hebrew, Jewish. If it's Jewish, it's with a J-U, the Urantia world. We have kippahs. We have the little pin at the end. If you look inside, there's 4 different corridors. Only at 4 can we make a proper round. That if you would blow into something that is pinned with 4 corners, you would actually come up with more something like this, a baseball, in which we've already discussed that a baseball has 3 different levels between the eye section of one side and the eye section of the other side. They're crossroads. Rubik's Cube fits in here. When you slice it down the center, when you slice it, you enter into what I call the hockey puck chip, where you can put a dice cube inside the hockey puck chip, and this hockey puck can turn around, and the chip will have 4 different eyes in it, it'll have holes in it, and each one will redirect itself into some kind of energy light in which they will use in our brains. All the expressions that we use in the world, we can lead a horse to water, we can't make him drink. But before I go on with the video, I don't want to waste anybody's time. There's not going to be very much in this. I just want to tell you that when you make a 360 degrees, you do this. You don't put 6 points out. The only reason the Magen David has 6 points is for the 2 points of his mind. One which is up here, and the other one is in the hip section, because the hip goes this way and this way. Your mind is not like the hips. Your shoulders, the shoulder, the whatever you want to call it that they put on the ambulance, all these are significant to how we are put together. We are sewn together. You can see the ribs underneath in your mouth. You can see the way your jaw is put together, the way the bottom jaw can vibrate, different from up here. If you put your hand here and talk, you'll hear the vibration from your mouth. If you take your pinky and put it in your mouth and put your thumb in your ear, you can actually hear yourself vibrating and talking. In shul today, I saw the Magen David hanging where the Torahs were, which is in the front, and there's a red light hanging down like this, and it split the Magen David in half. In which case, when it split it in half, this is what I saw. The 2 bull's horns, this looks more like a cow than anything else. I flipped it one way, I flipped it the other way. Then I flipped it together. This one I screwed up with. I have to finish it. If you look in the sections, the sword fits in over here. See your hips? The sword fits in here, the sword fits in there. What does it mean? I'm not quite sure. Something definitely that we are being pulled by a magnetic element and being able to communicate here to our belly button, through our shoulders and our heart, and up to our brains. I'm going to jump off this subject onto something else, but I will come back. I had noticed that in the Hebrew books, Moses died twice. Once at 120, the other one at 122. 120 is actually adding up 1 to 15, which is the egg in his head. When the egg in your head dies, you die at 120, but you die at 122 because of the beta world. It is the two world. It is the same way you speak about the cue ball in life. For the relationship between Abraham and Jacob, in which it's Jah, J and A, because of the angel birth 1 and 9, in which you see in the yellow ball in full, which makes Jah. Jacob is not Jacob at all. The 0 is not a 0. I mean, the O is not an O. It's anything but an O. It's Jakku, or Jaco. And Jaco is in Dragon Ball Z, or one of the other Chinese movies. And the B at the end is not a B. It's a 13. What happens when you take 13 as a number, and I'm going to try and see if I can go through my pages, and you want to go fishing, you have a double hook. When you have a double hook, you have a loop at the top. Now you don't see this loop, but in order to connect your loop, you need to loop the loop with the hook. And when you loop the loop with the hook, you're actually more or less doing this, having two J's. They have split our worlds, just like our nose is split between two sides. One side of thought, the other side of thought. Now the side of thought in numbers is 1, 4, and 7. The other side is 3, 6, and 9. Your actual bullhorns are 285. 85 is the matrix. Why? Because just the word matrix is 85. Silver is also 85, and reverse the 58, but it stands for 2, as in the two worlds. 58 and 58 is 116. 58 and 58 is 116. 232, 432. 9. 4 and 3 is 12. Earth, Venus, in which Venus is the first one to express herself by starting with a V and not a U, because you need two U's to express the connection between two sides, between the Ura world and the sun. The Ura world I cannot explain. It's something to go around to come around. It's in Uranus. That means it's in your ass. And somehow comes around to go around is what you eat in your mouth, comes out your ass, and every piece of information that went in your head somehow goes out your butt. It goes into the toilet. It ships down to the cities. They take that stuff and they test it and they ship it off to other science labs, where it's shipped off to other science labs, where they take it and they see what's good about it, and then they create a germ to kill whatever's good about it. So when they want to go against whatever they're doing, they have that germ because they have your manure. When they have their manure, they can create anything they want from it. Now they take it in global. It comes in sections, because that's the way the street sewers come in, and I'm quite sure they test it in sections. Now I can be 100% wrong, but regardless of whether I'm right or wrong, the thing is, it's all skeptics and it's all science. It's all based on whether or not is the possibility there. Now we're going to keep jumping around. That this star I saw and this hook over here, if you just move it a little bit closer, you're back to number 13B again, in which it's a flat line with two extra hooks at the end. You see this hook over here, the X that it creates and the X that it creates? This is 24 and this is 24, make 48 and 3. You're now at 51, area 51, trapped between the double D, which is now 8. So now you're at 59, and it's the Einstein theory of 5959, which is 45, 45, 90, which is why we have Valentine's Day on the 45th day of the year, which is in the month of February, which is the Venus month, 2 and 1. 1 slips itself between 2, and it reads off of 2 into 1, meaning it's more like on your head like this, and it spins around. You have 1 on this side, 1 on this side. You ever see the dentist pick? Well, imagine that as a 5-star from SpongeBob, and it sits up like this, and it spins around tick, 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 in your head, and now you're thinking. And every time it runs out, it just turns around, just like a welder's torch lighter. That it goes down, and if you want, you just turn the knob, It's a threesome knob. It's not a square knob. Because if it was a square knob, it'll leave a point and an edge and an extra space used up that it does not need. You're using one, you're changing to another, that by the time you use one and change to another, the system matrix can automatically take this one out and replace it. Now you always have two free. And they're called pockets, and you play tennis with them. In tennis, the serve in tennis, the angle of the serve in tennis, if I get that right, is somewhere near 135 degrees. And that's because 135 degrees is this. But they're jumping up for the ball and getting the ball to come down as this. On this angle, it's your ace. Now, if it's not 135, that's okay. Because the missing part of 135 is 45, and now you have your 180 degree angle in order to understand your serve. And then again, it could be 60, and that would be the mug and dove it. Now, the mug and dove it is still a questionable item, and I am jumping around on things, and I will be jumping forward and backwards. And now I'm jumping backwards. Krista Berg, and I will be doing Krista Berg's song when I get myself organized, because when I have too much work, I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up. Krista Berg says, and I'm going to raise you more, I'm going to raise you to 105. But he doesn't say to 105, he says, I'm going to raise you to 105. To 105, that says, hold on a second, this is very cute. Now my cat is sleeping. Look at, that's how big he is, that's how small it is. So Krista Berg says, I'll raise you to 105. 105 is the age of Moses, 120. Because when you count 1 to 14, you have an ace at the beginning, you have an ace at the end, you play poker the way Krista Berg was, and he raises you to 105, because when you add up the ace from the beginning to the end, it equals to 105. Where does the 15 come in? Because when you use the ace in the 11th position for Jack, you've now used one more position, you have pushed the ace, the last ace, still stays at 14, but the total amount of cards are now 15, in which Jack becomes 10 instead of 11. So now all the cards, King, Queen, Jack, 10, well, 10 stays the same, but they all become, instead of 13, 12, 11, now they're all 10. Now that they've all been changed, instead of having 15 cards, because of the ace that become 11, you now have King, Queen, Jack, that pushes you up 3 more cards. You now have 18 cards in the deck. RAICHE, Angel Heaven, because your ace will play in all positions. They're not on a train at all. It's more like a horse and buggy. Spanish train is not on a train. When they're driving down the rail, when the ferryman comes out and the stakes are on the line, it's more like a horse race than anything else. And the question is, what are they actually fighting for? I'll raise you again, he slips another ace. Where did he slip it from? From beneath his cloak. What's a cloak? Is it an oak? Is it a joke? Is it a poke? I don't know. I have to study it. Krista Berg, Spanish train. He takes out the nav. He does? Northern Avenue? Nav. N-A-V-E. Northern Avenue. North Carolina Avenue. The green section in Monopoly. 8 away from go, 2 away from go to jail. He is now in time heaven. So where Krista Berg is actually playing, when he brings it back to old Seville, I'm not quite sure. But I will be into it, talking to you with half a chin. Now I'm going to get something to drink from the fridge. You're all welcome to go to your fridge and put me down for a minute. For those of you who are continuing to listen to whatever I have to say, I am going to throw a whole bunch of things at you. I will do Krista Berg. I did the piano. I'm going to redo the piano. I need to redo the piano because now I want to go forward with the idea of 3 A, B, C, market D, E, F, G, market A, and continue. Then I want to go back from the end. I want to go C, B, A, market G, and see what they say, because there's a lot of ways to do everything. There's even a 613 rotation. The 613 are the 613 laws of Moses, in which 365 are to one section, 248 are to the other section, 248, 365, 48, 65, 48, 58. You need 17 for 65. We have to run it in the leap year, because it is the leap year that creates the 1111. Which 1111 does it create? The 1111 of 30 days of creation, in which we take the 29th, is which we will count as a day, as the first day, and we will stop on the last day, which is April 1st. Why is April 1st the 29th day? Because it's the 92nd day of the year in a leap year, which makes the 1111 and creates 9 plus 2, 11, plus 18 is 9 times 2, which is 18. So 11 and 18, 1 and 1 is 2, and 8 and 1 is 9. So you have 2, which could be 2 sections, which is actually saying, I'm in the 10-10 world, creating the 20. I am of the 30 creation, but I'm in between the two sides. I become the 20, they become nothing without me thinking. Or trying to think. If I think at all. Now I'm going to go get something to drink. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to continue. For those of you who don't understand why I come on here and do any of this, it's to empty out what's in my mind. If there's anybody that has any kind of interest of any kind, then they're going to hear it from me for whatever it is. For whatever you want to put into it, whatever you think the worth is. But if I do not share it with the internet, regardless of sending it out over the internet, I need to share it with a star system that's above me. If somebody sees or notices something they want to say or ask, I can take part, and now I'm learning from you. Even if I'm doing the studying, even if I'm doing numbers, whatever it is, I'm still learning from you, because you put onto me what you saw, so you refracted back by asking me what you felt like you needed or wanted to know in the difference of the realm of whatever I do. I do it because I got sick 10 years ago and everything became larger than life. Now before I go, I did want to show you something, but this is 3 aces and a king. The king is this way, if you notice over here, because the king is what points out in all directions. If we flip it upside down, it's now an antenna. So when you flip it this way, if you notice over here, between here and here, there's an ace over here. And if you notice on this side, there's an ace over there. And if you split it down the center, you got 2 more aces. Chris de Burgh raises, he says to 105. He says the word 2. But he says and sings the word 2. But which 2 is it? Too much? Too little? The number 2? 205? Is it a tequila de hun? Was it dread red? And what was the 5? Because the 5 red is on roulette. And all the 210s and the 5 roulette is not actually 5 at all. But it's talking about the 10-10 world. That brings us to 5. So in the gematria tree of the 10 world of 5 is actually 5, 14, 23, and 32, which are all red. And it makes the 100 because it's from the 10-10 world. 10-10 is 20. 25 is the center of 1, 3, 7, and 9, and the center of 5, which connects it all together, which is actually created by Y's and not squares. He slipped another ace. Me, he says. What does it mean, me? There's more to me than one can expect, because on ne means to be born. I'm going to get a drink now, and I will be back. I just have to show you my cat again, because this is still the cutest thing in the world. And then there's this one here on the floor. Where is he? Okay, I'm going to get that drink. Here, I'll just point my camera up. I'm on my way back. You have to stay over there, okay, little guy? Hello everybody, how is everybody today? Do I seem a little bit more relaxed? I have no choice. The last couple of days I've been really racking it. I think I talked a little bit over my head. I don't like to mention things. I don't like to make predictions. It's not right for me. Even if I see it, even if the numbers say it, I just say it because of the numbers. I don't say it because I think it. I say it because the numbers tell me it. And it doesn't mean anything. Just like this world we're in, has anybody looked back 1,500 years? Look about North America, what happened 1,500 years ago in North America. Do you know why? It's all made up. For the few people that lived, no one knew how to write, so no one wrote anything. And in the time of Christ, CH, Communication Heaven, Christ Heaven, Canadians Hockey, Urantia World, ice caps, for me, and my own thinking, somehow either A, it's Avatar and they pulled the islands together, or B, this place didn't exist. They shipped us in from maybe Saturn or something. They piled on the earth on top of mechanics, old mechanics that are rusting down below. That's why we're able, that's why they know when they dig, most of the time they know what they're going to get, because they built it that way. Canada, United States was an add-on. We didn't move until Christopher Columbus says the world was flat. You know how he knew? Because he knew the truth. It's all flat. They just put the islands all in different places of the ocean and it's flat. We can tilt the world and pull it together only by the element of elements. Magnetism. Distortion. I try to stay as pure as I can. 54, the number of the sun. This is in the center, 5445. The 0 actually says we are in the 1010 world. Okay? Actually, it says we're in the 101010 world because 500, once you get to over 500, you're in the center of two sides, left and right. I drink this stuff. I feel we get the trees. It's a real world. It's a built world. We have brains. We have brains because they were built. Whoever owns this place, okay, owns this place for us, for the mind to come and do things. It's like a gold mine of some sort. And whatever amount of religions there are, at the end of everything, you can either A, go back to the evil side because that's where you want to go, and you won't really get very far. You can have no brain and just a body, but then you aren't anything at all. Or you can go to Hashem's house. Hashem is the Hebrew God. But when I look at Hashem, for me, it says A-H. The rest says Shem. It means chemicals to me. Somehow they put us together with chemicals. And then I started thinking, Menachem Begin. Begin. Menachem. More chemicals. Manna. Begin. Manna chemicals. Now I want to look up manna chemicals. Because that's what his name says. Manna chemicals. Did you know that Israel is top of almost everything? 15 million Jewish people in the world, of billions of people, duplicated in the Orient, I believe. I believe that we are duplicated in the Orient, whether we are in real people's minds or whether there's just these little chickens that are sitting like in little nests. Where do I pick that one up? Well, it's easy. Tomorrow is football. And everybody's putting shit on the hash marks. Hashem, brains all over, testing us, wanting to rule the brain of the world, control the brains of the world. Where all electricity passes through hydroelectric. There is no electric without the hydro, but there is no anything without the water that flows to create the hydro, the natural element of the earth, of things going round and round. Have you ever thought of it? Niagara Falls keeps running, but where does the river come from? And I know someone's going to answer me and say, well, Bud, that's the way it is. But in regular life, the river keeps on going because there's a cycle. And if there's a cycle, the cycle was created for some reason. It just didn't happen like that. This is not a 100% natural place in this world. Part of it might be natural over time, but it's not over time that it's natural. Moses says, I know the word of the horse, from the horse's mouth. Even if he was real, Israel was 100,000 miles or light years away. We moved together to become what we are today. And even what we are today, I want to know the ships that go through these canals, because the oceans are at different heights, is because we were pulled together and we're not even together. It's like we're sewed together. It's like we're sewed together somehow. I'm going to be looking in this book and see what else I have in here. Again, if you want to do, here's your 3. Just goes round and round, and every time this is your diamond, it's in 4D or whatever, every time it turns around it hits here, the 7th gate. Every time it hits the 7th gate, and it just keeps going around. I don't know why it hits the 7th gate. I really don't know what it does, but it does something. The other way to do this is this way here, and then here's the outline. Now if you look at this outline, this is more like MC squared. Take a good look. I have a design on another page. But we're going to go on. We're doing these quick. You want to see what's around me? Now I got this around me. I am the house of the cats. I don't know why, but over the last couple of years, that's all I got is cats. Okay, we're going to put this back over here. So we're going to show just a few pictures. The Magen David, the split 7, which is actually, the minute you make the Z and you split it, because you see the line here, it tells me to split it. I don't have the Z anymore. Now it's a number 1. I know it's a number 1 because there's a place, there's a place near Morocco that everybody draws their 1 like that. So you got 1 and 1. Here's your 7th gate. It becomes the 7th gate. Okay, you see number 7? There's your number 7. It becomes the 7th gate to the 8th world, and when you put 2 of them together, it turns into the 8. But the X in Roman numerals is 10, but it's 10,000 when you put the bar on top. And when you put the bar on top, now we're talking 10,000 souls are on the line, and we're back to Christa Berg. 10,000 souls are on the line. The horsepower of a horse, of a car, a horse and buggy that we use, the strength of a horse, always related back in horsepower. The diamond in the center that we have over here with 2, can you see there's this side? let me write that out here. Let me do this. This is, doesn't that look like more MC squared to you than anything else? I just shaded it in. Okay. The other thing is, there is no real square. If you want to draw a real square, this is what you must do. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There you go. Now, you go to the top, and you draw the same thing. You draw the same thing, and now you draw the line all the way down, and then all the way up. And that's a square. There's your box in the side. Somehow it turns over. I don't know what it does, but you cannot draw a square. This ends up to become the sad wolf. This is your sad wolf. This is the wolf's nose over here. And this is basically the sad wolf. Or if you want to call it a bird. I can put a little hat on him. I can put a hat over here. drawing it from the center. This would be the center. This would be the start of your mug and dovet, your extra cap. I'm not explaining the whole thing because I'm still in the studying of this, but this is more of a rectangle. With this, when you put two of them together and you touch here, you're more playing actually the game of pool than anything else. And we created the pool pockets because we have empty space. So we got to pull things together, then we get the pool pockets. So we have that. I'm trying to see what else I have in here. Here's another design. This design here, okay, which is off a chair I saw today, and this is what the design is. It's the number 3. And then in order to reinforce the number 3, you come down and you put the W. So now we have W3, and if you look at it, it looks like 2 rectangles, or a P, or a 6, or a 9. When it's extended, it expresses what it is. It's the totality of 2 sides. Why do you go up and down? Because if you don't go up and down, the length between here and here will create your circle, in which from here to here it cannot create your circle because it does not have the full length of what the size of the square is. Because the square is not really a square. It shouldn't even be a square. It should always be a rectangle. This is my provision of what I see. Here again, this is the mug and dovet, okay? This is the mug and dovet split up, and here's the way it should actually be. This is again the same thing with MC squared. You want to take it off. There's your M, there's your E. It's sigma, it's a Greek part, and you can throw an I on it and make yourself a chicken if you want. You throw 2 eyes on it, you got 2 chickens, but he's looking to the left, he's looking to the right. Well, he's one big chicken and he's looking straight forward. The other thing I was going to mention is this. I'm just jumping around, which is my telephone. Okay, if you notice on here, W-E-R, and then all these letters, all you have, I'm going to do this while I'm with you. This is a bit of a smorgasbord what I'm bringing with you. You have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And you have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, which is right here. Here's the 1. Here's the 5. Between 1 and 5 is 3. Between 5 and 9 is 7. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Then you have the 3. Then you have a 5. So you'd have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is how it works. So now when you do that, you get 34, 5, which is the center ring of 6, 7. 7 and 3 make 10. 6 and 4 make 10. And this is the size of the moon. 7, 13. Let's look at it another way. 7, 7, 6. 1776. We don't need to use the 1,000 because the 2 numbers, okay, the 4 numbers together already tell me it's in the 1,000. These 2 come together. These are the only 2, 3 and 4, Earth and Mars, that do not carry the letter U, in which Uranus carries 2 U's and stand for 42, which is the expression of the Mayan calendar. In which here, when you go to 1379, okay, these are already documented in your phone. 1, 3, 7, and 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So it makes this over here. When you look at it, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, it becomes 3, 6, 5, 4, 7. 365, 47. 47 would most likely be, instead of 0.25 in the year, it's actually 0.47 in the year of time. Every, I don't know how many years, we actually lose a few days. So in this, again, we have the 10-10 world between 1 and 9 and 3 and 7 coming together, and 3, 7, and 5 is what the Nibiru thing is all about right now. This 1, 3, 7, and 9 is a core. What it is a core is, it's an element like this. I'm going to put this back up here and I'll show you real quick. If I can stick this through the ball, there would be one, just one, inside the ball. There's one finger that the pitcher puts on his ball, and that one finger is going to be the total guide for the ball. It guides off of one finger. Yes, there's more fingers, but it's a guide. Now you take this, okay, and I was at a bar mitzvah today, so we have a little ring candy, like they're selling ring candy. What is the ring for? Because this is your ring. This is your ring. This is your core. If we were running a duplicate world, they put one straight through the ball over here, and then this, when it turns, there's going to be on the seams, here's going to be one, and on the seams on the other side will be another one, two of these, and when this turns in the center, it'll be turning two, I like to use the word revelations, because they're both going to reveal each other. My cat just chased. Oh, so you do understand, when you turn this, when it turns this, it automatically turns this. But this, if you take a look at the ring, once it goes up here, it makes everything move back, and then it brings it forward. It moves it back, and then it moves it forward. So the ocean moves back, and then the ocean moves forward. Wow. Now look at this. We got look. Now this one's going in. One went out, one went in. Sniff, 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 sniff. Anyways, now he's gonna, anyways, okay. This is the smorgasbord. I know we're not gonna get a lot of viewers on this, but that's okay. Because I have to exalt myself. I must empty whatever thought is within me, because if I don't empty what thoughts within me, I cannot go further into any other thoughts. I'm gonna have a little cranberry now. I'm hoping they're pure. Every fruit that we ever grow here, everything's been manipulated anyways. It has for the better of the fact and for the worse. They need to bring out the best in everything in order to manipulate it after. If you only bring out halfway of whatever it is when you go to manipulate it, you're going to lose control of whatever you do, and you won't be able to duplicate it if you want to manipulate something afterwards. And they are sour, like terrible sour. The other thing is this one here. I made a mug and David within each other, just like I did on the other page, but I put two caps on it. A cap here and a cap here. Here's your one dice. Here's your other dice. Is there any of these turning, or are they holding everything stable? Does this one move out and this one move down? Is there a core in here? Here's the cap. This is what they call 66. This is what they call actually 676. It's 676 because this is found on top of the 6 key of your computer keyboard. These are your gateways, 10 and 10. There's no 10 in the middle, but it's now a square. Every square is 2, 4, 6, and 8, totaling to 20. You have 10, 10, which is 20, and 20 in the center is actually 40. But if you flip this a little bit higher, it's actually a V. A V is actually only 5. So you have 2 V's, one upside down from the other, creating the X, which is 10 or 24, and now you have 34. Earth and Mars, one more time. This is a whole setup. Whatever we live on, okay, we don't know the truth. I can't tell you anything exactly. All I can tell you is show you as many possibilities that take you to an area where they say, oh my God, shit. There's a lot of stuff that makes sense. Something can't be true. So if one thing's not true, now a lot of things start to be not true. Once you get to a certain area, everything starts to unravel, regardless. It's like a broderie. So we saw in here what these are. This is your ace. 135 or 135 degrees plus 45 degrees will put you upside down. 180 degrees. Ace. 357, 579, 345, 4, 5, and 6. This is the center of your telephone. 3 and 7 are the creation. These are the wings. 3 and 7 are the wings because Aleph tells me they are. What I'm going to tell you right now is this is what I do with piano. I either, not the piano, in pi, 3.1415, in which 14 is the middle of Rubik's Cube, and then 15 is the egg that sits inside of Rubik's Cube, that has the 6 prongs that turn. 9-2 starts you on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, 92nd day of the year, which is usually the 91st day of the year if it wasn't a leap year, in which once you get the leap year day is the 29th day of the year. It also makes the 60th day of the year, which automatically, once you are onto the sixth world, it's now 64. 6 and 4 are across from each other, 4, 5, 6, the Federation Galactica. What we do with pi is we'll multiply it by 3 every single number, or every 2 digits. I like to do single digits. Before I do that, and if I do that, I might bring it to the 7 world, where I'll put a 4 on top of this, a 6, a 3, a 6, and a 2, making everything look like 7. I can bring it to the 10 world, and I could put 9, and then I'll put 6, and then I can bring it to the 13 world inside the same number. 13 and 1 is 14, 4 and 13 is 17. 4 and 9 is 13. Okay. At the same time, I'll bring it to the 13 world and add this on top of it and bring it back to a single digit, which would be 4 plus 13 equals to 17. 1 and 7 is 8. Another way to do this, okay, is first I bring it to the 7 world, or the 10 world, okay? Because first I bring it to the 10, then I'll divide it up on each side, make 1 7 world, 1 7 world. In the middle in the world would be 13. It would say 7, 6, 7. I am 6 in the center, covered by 7 and 7. Why? Because of the system of 1, none, and 1. We have the mountain, we have the valley. We have the mountain, we have the valley. It's the separation in between the two of the 7 stripes you may have of red, but in between are the white. And in between the white, you actually have 5 red markings. So, but they would be enveloped by 6. So you would have 7, 6, 5 would be the actual marking, and that would be one of your Chi 18, because now you have red, white, and red again, which I'm not quite sure of the whole totality of the understanding of what I'm trying to do with that, but I put it in my mind, I get it online, I've set it, I know somewhere it's going to click back somewhere else, I'm going to see something else. Then what we do in pi now, okay, I'll go to 1, and then I'll go 9. Now if I want to bring that 9 to the 7 world, 9, and I'll put 6 on it, 9 and I'll put 7 on it, will be 16. 1 and 6 will be 7. Or I'll just do it like this. If I bring it to the 10 world, it'll be 9. If I want to bring it to the 13 from there, I'll just add on 4. 7 world is very easy. 10 world is very easy. The 13 world is when you start to get to the second level, and that's where the Mayan come in, because that's what their calendar talks about. They talk all about number 5, and they also talk about number 13. And they talk about number 13 because when they mention 25, 625, the number 52, okay, is 4 13s. 3 13s bring you to 39 and bring you to the end of Boardwalk. Well, it's one before Boardwalk, but it is Boardwalk when you start from go. And they do that because now they have to add on to the world what's in your head. So we can do it by that. The other thing I do with pi, whether it's before or after, is I'll multiply everything, like I said before, by 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12, 1 and 2 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 by 5 is 15, 1 and 5 is 6. And now that I did all of that, if I want, I can bring everything to the 7 world, the 10 world, and the 13 world, okay? But certain numbers that are 9 and under, if it's not, if I have to use a 10, I would not use a 10, and I won't go to the 13 world, I'll leave it where it is. For example, 3 times 1 is 3. I need 10 to go to the 13 world. I don't have to do anything. But the 13 world is a 4. So now I have to just add a 1. So I'll multiply everything by 3. I do not have to do it by 6 or 9 because 3 is 6 is 9. I'm not going to do it by 2 because 2 is 4. There's only 2 parts of the world, it's 4 and 8. 8 is in the center, it's the matrix of 1. When you have the matrix of 1, it's 5. 5, 1. My third finger, 5. Hold the disc on the outside, spin the disc in the center, two supporting fingers. This is how you lift the finger, right? That's all this one does. My fingers are... Anyways. Okay, so we saw what we were going to do with this. So now all we do, again, 3 is Earth, 4 is Mars. Mars is the box we put the prism in for the brain. In the brain, we have a clam, we have a scallop, we have a shrimp, and then we have all those pumpkin seeds in our head, all those strands of the pumpkin seeds that go all the way down our body for the senses that we have, for the thinking that we end up doing. The pumpkin head, jack-o'-lantern. Jack-o'-lantern, open your eyes and see what you can see. Remember, when you take a flash with your eyes, you get red eye because you're seeing out. The cat has a reflective lens on. It's not the same as us, because they're seeing what we're seeing. Somehow this world of matrix, of the matrix mind, can see whatever you see. You have everything duplicated, whatever you've seen. When you die and go to heaven, you will see exactly what you saw in your entire life. There's nothing or anything that's been left out. Every sound that you've made, every fart that you made, every person you screwed in your life, you will see it in heaven. And you have to live with yourself after for a certain period of time before they call that, what do they call that? Purgatory? For a certain period of time you must, because we need to adjust. We're always thought adjusters. We work for others. Up and down the ladder, up one way, down the other way, stopping in between, meeting people, adjusting the way we're thinking. Do you think all on your own? Do you remember? The only time you can really think is when you put your hand in your pocket and you start scratching, going, what's going on, balls? So we end up multiplying by 3. If we multiply by 4, we're now living the life. Why? Because 4 by 13 is 52. That's the number. That's the magic number, 52. But listen, if we have a Rubik's Cube, okay? If we have a Rubik's Cube, or a telephone, or a triangle, things are not square, they're triangular. They can't be square, because a square comes from a triangle. I mean, that's what I see, and I know I have adjustments in explanation to this, but I have an adjustment for this. And in order to turn the Rubik's Cube over, you have to go from 6 to 1. So if God rested on the 6th day, He rested on the 6th day. Did He rest on the 7th day? He rested on the 1st day. Because after the 6th day, when He rested on the 7th day, it was our 1st day. So if God is Alpha Omega, you can wipe out one of the days of the week. We don't even got it. It's only up here in our head. But we don't live it in our bodies. Unless the body has to speed up to catch up to the mind. To catch up in the mind and the blood in our head. To a gray mind. That would mean there's 52 days less in a year. That would mean if there's 52 days less in a year, 52, 314, there would be 314 and 313 days a year. 313, the cycle of the piano. Because after you do 2, after you do 3 in the piano, okay, you have done your first 3 of creation. 1 plus the maximum 7 creates 8. 2 plus the maximum 7 creating 9. And 3 plus the maximum 7 creating 10. You are now Ja. Part of the Jacob and the Jacob. And the Jacob of creation of Abraham and Moses. It's all a situational thing because the B that in the Jacob, the B splits apart, becomes a 1 and a 3, and it becomes 2 hooks. 1 hook, 2 hooks. The Hitler mustache was phased in the center. He was working on the matrix dead up and down. He wasn't working with the other worlds. He was only working with one world. That's why his mustache is cut this short. He's working with the center world. His bull that he pushes out of his nose. That's your bull. When you get mad at somebody, you go out your mouth. The horse's nostrils. Do you ever see the size of them? He can cool down his body, his system, because of the size of his nose and the water that can come on in. And that's why they're always slobbering from their mouth. So we have the 52 days now. We take the 52 days off the system. We get 313 days in a non-leap year, which is 639. 639 is man of 13, 13, 13 of the 3 worlds. 2, 2, 2, 13, 13, 13. 1 and 3 is 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. The 72 cycles multiplied by 5 brings you to 360 degrees around, if there wasn't a round. But we can't actually multiply it by 5. It only can be multiplied by 4. Because if you multiply it by 5, where's the fifth one? This one is the one that spins. There's only 4 that you can really work with in the 313. And what the 313 cycle is you can do the same thing to pi. You go inside a pi, you take the first number, you throw it aside. You take the second number, you throw it aside. Now, if you want to play creation part, you'll stop on the third one and say every third one is creation. But now you have to go the 3/4 cycle, because when you come into 3, you need 4 for the cycle to come back to the first day again. So I prefer to go the 313, which is simpler to explain right now, in which I'll go pi, first number, second number, third number, and then I'll mark down the fourth number. Then I'll go first, which means the third number is Earth, and the fourth number would be the prism that goes into the sandbox in your mind we call Mars. Because we are part of Mars. A-R-S. R sounds like A. A goes before the R because of the sound and the family it comes into, and when you add up 1A and 18R, which is actually already said is A and H, angel heaven, the R is the 2 numbers that are selected for A and H, in which is the head of man, the H. The H, when you put an H sideways, it gives you 2 eyes, the Canadians' hockey symbol. So now that you have the R letter, 1 and 18, it makes 19, it makes S. M is, like I explained before, M is that 3 of creation, which all of a sudden 3 of creation goes first. You have ARS of the man with a head with a brain, he's born, you got Mars. You got the prism of Earth inside Mars. Earth is sand. The spirit is water. Where are we? We're a bunch of islands of sand that we need to eat. We eat, we need the sand in the food, and we eat, it becomes sand in our head like sandpaper. And then we have kids and children, and they grind us to the ground like sandpaper. Everything is ground down, ground beef. So we were talking about the 52 weeks in a year, in which now we lose 52 days. 52 days wouldn't make it even. We can't have 52 days. God's got to be Alpha Omega. He's actually got to have 3 of the 4 days. But the third day that he gets, as at number 4, which is the Mars plate, the sandbox, that's in our head. So we just have to actually eliminate day 1 and day 7. Sunday, S-U-N, and Saturday. Both of them consistently have a U. Monday does not have a U, and it stands for the moon. And Monday starts with an O. 30 is Monday of creation. The M turns sideways, either the electronic or EMC, or the MC3 squared, or whatever it is. I don't know my mathematics very good, and I will learn it one day. So we have Monday, we have Tuesday with a U. We have Wednesday, there is no U. There's again the W, just like Monday. 1, 3, and Friday is the V, just like the W, but it's a W, it's a V for vendredi. Friday is number 6, F-R-I, F-A-R-S, Farsi, means stuffed. Why do I say it? Because Friday is F-R-I. R and I is third for creation. F-R, the R is A-R-S, just like we said on Earth and Mars. Use the same numbers, and the third and fourth planet, in which the third and fourth planet do not have a U. It's very funny that Earth stands for number 52. 6 is number 52, and heart is number 52. Mars is 51, and Mercury, the blood in our veins, is 103. The 2 moons on Mars and the 1 moon on Earth take that 52 and 51 into 53, 53, which is the number of first and last. Why? Because Quebec says, kiss my ass. Que is ass, which is Q. Q or CU, which is the departure, and Jacu, or Jacob, C and U together. Because of the O is split in half between the water and the earth. And who you are, O is water. O stands for water. And that's one of the reasons that O is in all the blood system, and it's also part of the moon system, which the moon system, as I showed you before, 3, 4, 6, and 7, which is the Einstein theory. 3, 4, 6, and 7, 5 to left, 5 to right, 55. 7 by 6, 7 plus 6 equals 55. 2 and 3, which you don't see here, 2 times 3 and 2 plus 3, in the 147 theory, 147, which is the weak theory. This is the alpha, and this is the omega, A and O. A and O also stand for AE and O, which is part of something to do with the owls. I don't actually know, because A and E, 1 and 5, and the O is the 15th letter. 15th letter, 1 and 5, we got 21, and we got a dice cube. 23 is 2 times 3, and 2 plus 3 equals to 6 and 5. And the 6 and 5 go over here, and the 2 and 3 go over here. And this is about the time Moses was born, 2356. The cycle was 47. 36 goes together. 3 times 6 is your 18. 4 by 7 is 28. That's the Einstein theory, 36 and 47. This is the size of the moon diameter, 34. 67, 3 times 4 is 12, 3 and 4 is 7, makes 19. Here's your 19 for the man with his head on the moon. Head on the moon. So now what we have to do, is over here, is we're going to, we have 52 days that we're going to take off for alpha omega, and 52 days equals to 104. Now when you add up ace all the way to king, it equals 91. 13 weeks times 7 days equals to 91. Times 4 equals to 364. 13 moons times 28 days equals to 364. 1.25 days to go, and that's the Mayan number for the cycle of 5 times 5 times 5 before you turn around again and multiply it by 5, which equals to 625, multiplied by 41, which equals to 25,625. 41 is starting at go in Monopoly and coming back to go. 41 is also when you get to the center of Rubik's Cube, of your first cube. When God starts, he goes to number 14 is the center of the first cube. To go to the center of the next cube, you must add it, 27 plus the 14 equals to the 41 that multiplied to 625 to get you 25,625 of the Mayans, in which this here is a multiple of either 5 and 25. 25 times 25, which is the quarter, which is the reindeer, Santa's reindeer, 25 by 25 is 625. 625 times 41 brings you to 25,000, which 25, 52, 25, 2 by 5, 2 plus 5 equals JG, Jesus Christ. We now have 27 and 14. 2 times 7 was 14. 3 by 3 by 3 makes your 27 of the Rubik's Cube. You can't go wrong with any of these systems because they built everything off these systems. Rubik's Cube, no matter what you do, there's 52 cubes in which every single corner is a value of 3 colors. There's 8 corners, there's 24 colors. There's one single one in between, 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom. If you turn it over, there'll be more, but there's 8. That's 16 because it has 2 colors. The other one had 3, this one has 2. You have a total of 24. 24, 2 by 8 is 16. You have a total of 40 and the size of a Monopoly board. Now you have 6 of them that are dead center. 4 and 6, 4 times 6, 4 plus 6 is 24 equals 34. 4 times 6 is 24, 4 plus 6 is 10 equals to 34. Unless you're using the x as 24, it now equals to 58, 85, which is the matrix system, and it's a rotation for the mind going up and down the ladder to Venus or Neptune and back, because Venus is actually the V in your mind. Venus is the V of everything because nothing exists without the V. You put the V this way, you make things turn. You put the V the other way, you've opened up the crotch. If man didn't have a point on a V on the end of his dick, you wouldn't be able to put it in the V and you wouldn't create a V. The other thing we're going to go back to is I wanted to show you this over here. I wanted to show you back is we had the 104. 104 equals to Y to K. Because what does it mean Y when there's no ace before the 2? We now say 2 all the way to the end of 9, 2 to 9. Okay, there's your 29 again. 2 to 9 equals to 44. This is the space without the ace, because the ace is the master who masterminds and takes care of the splitting of the ace and bringing the ace back to a point of where it comes out your mouth now. From your nostrils to your thoughts in your head, coming out to one voice, one speech, one action. That is your ace, that is your Y, because it is your K. You are the king of the Y of what you say. 2 to K is 44. That is the cycle. You cannot go anymore. 4 by 4 is 16. 4 and 4 is 8. You have P, H equals to 24 again. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 plus 4 equals 6, equals to 14 when you total. And we're back to the cycle of cycling the mind of Rubik's Cube over here, number 14 in the center. If you add up 27 to the next center of next Rubik's Cube from 41, you get 68. And that's planet X. Planet X because it's your head. P and H, which sound for F, equal to the 24, equal to the 8 and 6. The 8 and 6, 2 and 8, 4 and 6 make it a perfect 10-10 world within its own realm. 6 by 8 is 48. 6 plus 8 is 14. The total of that is 62. In which this 62, if we multiply 5 times 7 equals to 40, equals to 35. 5 plus 7 equals to 12. The total is 47, so I'm going to mark 47. Because we do it twice, it's 4774. 74 is the number of Jesus, J-E-S-U-S. 47 is time. You add them together, it's 121. 121. 121, or a minute and 21 seconds. If you have a minute and 21 seconds, 11 times 11 equals 121. All we want is the number. We don't care which way it goes. But 121 in minutes or seconds is 81 seconds, which is 9 times 9, and reflects Venus, V-E-N-U-S. 22, 27, 37, 41. V-E-N, vendredi, totals 41. Then you have S and U, which is 19 and 21, which equals 40. 40 and 41, which is the Monopoly board. It takes 40 to go around, but you have a total of 41. 81, which is 9 by 9, stands for Venus, and it's the low life, L-O for the low life, and then you have love. That would start with L-O, L-O-V-E. Now, Venus backwards says sun, because the low life of the sun is within man's mind, and it's what shines bright off of him, which is his nose. This is 54, and the total of this over here is 27. Do you understand? We get back to the 27, 3 by 3 by 3, 2 times for two sons of man. The other thing about Venus is V is 4, E is 5, N is 5, U is 3, S is 19. It's the furthest apart, and it's the most difficult to play with. In my own head, it becomes 1 and 9. 9 and 1 is 10. In all actuality, I can start over again, but this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 23, 27. The total for actually Venus is 27 times 3 equals 81, and we need to divide it up by 3, because although you come here as one spirit, you pick up the earth part of Venus, and you have to build a body within which the mind works. And it's a minefield, because it's not only in your mind. You touch, you feel, you see. You have a sex organ. You have to organize. And it's really an organ, because you got to play it for it to work. Big eyes, right? He's got his templates on his feet, and he's stretching his feet out through his nose. So that was actually see my little owl? But by every time I make one of these footballs, one of these guys are created. See the V above his head? This becomes his bow tie or his necktie. Here's the Twin Towers. One a Twin Tower here, one Twin Tower here. One of the two bombs. See, you're not alone. You're not here. We're not here. We're not here at all. At all. The body is here. We think here. We do things here. But the actual thinking of everything is in a computer system in another area where you're alive, and you asked to come into this body. You ask to transfer. You cannot live two lives unless you learn to live the two lives within one. So we're going to go back to dumping this down here and showing this over here. We have 104 days from 366 days. So we're going to take 104 off of 366 off of 104, and you have a total of 262 days. Now, you want to see something about this 262? We're going to go to Jesus. 88 is the number cycle when you count from when you count from 3, because you have to start at Earth. 1 and 2 makes 3. God, Venus, Mercury make Earth. When you count from 3 to King, it equals to 88. We do not need to use the 1 and the 2 card, because the 1 card is over here, and the 2 card is over here, and the 3 card is over here. So this and this goes in here, so we run 88. 88 in French, because this is a twin system. We're not just English, we're English and French. That's the way we have to run it. Every language, there's not that many languages in the world, okay? And here we have just a new transfer over here. We have a new cat that jumped in the bucket. Everyone's got a sniff. Everyone's got a sniff, because that's what man's brain does. It sniffs. It's always sniffing. So we have number 88, okay? 88. Now, what do we do with it? It's French. It says 80 QVH. Now, there's other ways to do that will prove that 88 is the number, and 88 is really the number for the reason, okay, because of these numbers here. This here. Each section of these, they would be closer. They're balls. They come on jacks. Okay, there's jacks that we play. The girls, little girls and boys play these jacks. And these jacks, okay, have little balls on it. And because of your telephone, the corners, 7, 9, 3, and 1, or 2, 6, 4, and 8, are the jacks that stick out. There's only one that goes straight down, that spins the rest of the world. But it totals to 20. So when you total these 20, hold on a second. You think I can do a little bit of work here, or what? What are you doing? I have some work to do. There's somebody waiting for me. Thank you. Okay, so now we have here QV and H. We have the number 62 over here. The reason I put the 62 is because 13 moons, 5775 is next Hebrew New Year, okay, in which 5775 is this here. This is the roulette wheel, okay. This is supposed to be 12 rows, okay, by 3 wide. But this is standing down flat 5 this way, and the squares is 5 squares this way by 3 squares up. So I reversed it and put 5 squares up by 3 squares, and it ends up giving me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have the year 5775, and it's considered the geometrical tree because the roulette wheel is considered the universe, with the ball spinning in the center. So it's not by my choice. It's by my finding and creating it within to make the numbers being of the choice. So this is what this is. Okay? So we're coming back to here. So what I do is I took 4774, which recreates the 5775, which is 35, 5 and 3 that I told you about, of 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is the 8 and 9, in numbers, the 9 here. Okay, the 8 is not here because the 8 is a juncture of 6 and 4 and 2 and 8, which is not on here. It's on my phone, but anyways, the 8 world, because 8 and 9, 8 times 9 is 72, and there's 72 degrees, 5 times 360 degrees is what makes the circle. But it makes the circle because the core in the center makes up for its own 72 degrees, making it only 4 times 72, which makes 288, and that's the real amount of time there is in a year, which is 288 days. And I know about that because when I multiply it by the figure down here that I was showing you before of the 13 moons, you remember the 13 by 28 moons is 364? The 1.25 that was missing because of the Mayans 555, if you look onto their sheet, you'll see their Mayans will have markings like this all over. They'll have markings like this all over. That's the 5 world. This equals to 20. This is the reason. 20, 40, 60, 80, 82, 84, 86, 88, and the 3 is the connection in the center. That's your 88. That's why it says 88, which is this QVH equals 47. 47 and 88 is 135, which equals to the word ace, which means it's a center core that spins everything around, spinning this thing over here. It goes right in between here. This is one world. This will end up saying 6, 6, 6, and 6. Parking. No parking, free parking. So now we're going to get back to this. When you multiply this by 13 moons, it ends up saying 62062. So we're back to this. Do you remember where we got this? 808. Bicycle cards 808. Well, this is what it is. 2 times 6 is 12 plus 8 is 20. Makes 200. And this one will say 20 also. Makes 2002. 2002 is another thing. When you multiply 2002 by time, which is 47, or by moons, which is 13, I don't have the calculation right now, but one of them equals 94094. Anytime you get 4 and 9, 4 and 9 is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have all in here, the 5. You have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 on the outside, 5 on the inside, and it's the 9 card. So now, again, I don't want to mix you up, but I know I'm going to mix you up anyways, okay? When you see this, 47, this is actually like 49, because you live in the 7, but the sperm of you and the one spirit of you is constantly in your head, but you only live the 7. Why? Because of the cube is 1 and 6. Whether it's God inside of you, whatever it is, it's 1 and 6. Here's one side, here's the center 2, here's your 3, here's your 4, here's your center again, and here's your next one is 6. Now you're back to the beginning again. But you're in between the 2 sides. That's one of the reasons they have the extra day, because you've got to move back to this side or this side. Anyways, so now we're back to the 88. 88 plus the 47 equals to 135, which equals to 9, which equals to ace, which is 1 and 3, M, or 1 and 5. 13 and 15 is your 28 and your moon cycle, which comes right out of this, because this is the part that's spinning around, making everything happen. When I multiply 47 by 88, it equals to 4136. 4136 is back to what I was telling you about the 2 Rubik's Cubes, and 36 is 6 by 6, the 36th world, in which if you take a square block and you mark all the points on it, you will get 6 by 6, 36. This is also the short line railway in Monopoly, all the way to Go, which is the 5 areas that you actually live in life, in which you're really not moving at all. There's other numbers. The total of this is 77. 7 of 7. I know it's hard to understand, but now we're getting back to Jesus. Jesus' number, J-E-S-U-S. This is number 10. 15, 19 is 34. Earth and Mars. Just in J-E-S, Jesse James, back to Earth and Mars. 34 plus this, this equals 40. 40 and 34 is 74. The short count will be 10, 11, 12, 13. 23 and 5 is 28, is 38. 38 is creation of the heavens within man's mind, which actually, really and truthfully, somehow comes out of Las Vegas Hoover Dam. Somehow part of our life comes out of there. I don't know how it works. Either A, they've been regenerating, like we've been blocked. When they made North America to control our minds. You see how different it is throughout the world? When they started building these dams and these rivers and whatever it is blocking up, they did it to control the energy in the air, to control the air, to control the water in the air, and everything else to control your mind. The 2 sides of your thinking. 1, 4, and 7 down the scale of the telephone, or 3, 6, and 9. And we're going to get to 3, 6, and 9 in a minute. 74 times 47 of Jesus equals Excuse me, this is not the number. When you add it, it becomes the 121 again. When you multiply 47 by 74, I can't give you the answer. What I do want to do now is something else. We take this, because I got a little mixed up with something, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find my place with it. If I had a calculator, I'd find it real quick. Now that I have Jesus 74, and 47 is time, since 47 is time, Jesus' real name, okay, because they call him Christ, is actually 33, because Christ is actually 77, in which hot and cold water is 34 and 43, which is Earth and Mars. 3 and 3, 77, 33 is 1010, or 110 stories of the Twin Towers. 33, 77, this is the number for Nibiru. 33 by 47 equals to 1551. 1551, bring it into the 7 world. 6 and 1 is 7. 2 and 5 is 7. 2 and 5 and 7. 1 and 6 is 7. Now we have the number over here, the year, the number here, which is recreated by this. You have to multiply it to have it find its true value and reduction. This number, again, when you reduce it, 5 by 7 is 12, 5 by 7 is 35. 1 and 2 and 1 is 3. 3 and 5 is 8. Again, you have number 38. Back to Hoover Dam again. This is the hockey rink. We had time. We had the hockey rink. We had the 13 moons. Now we're going to go back to the last part. You remember I told you take off 104 days? When you play Casino War in this here, the ace goes last. If you put the ace last and add up, 2 to K is 44. 2 to 9 is 44. Jack, Queen, King is 46. Normally this is 45. It's funny the way this one ends up one more. 91 is the total. 91 plus you have 91 take away the ace again is 90. But the ace that goes after King is the 14th position equals to 104. It stands for Casino War, 10-4, CB codes, 2 and 3, number 23, the famous number 23, in which is recreated in the 147 days of the week. 23 recreates 5 and 6. 2 times 3, 2 plus 3, 5 and 6. So we come back, again, if you go back and forth in the video, here's your 262, here's your 262 of Christ, here's your 262, your 262 here, your 262 here, your 262 here. So I don't pull any bullshit. I'm showing you the numbers. These are the numbers. Christ 33 times 47, 1551 into the 7 worlds. Then we have over here, the last year of the Hebrew New Year and the Gematria scale brings you out to this number. It recreates to this, which is back to the number of Jesus Christ, 47. TIME equals 47. 47 and 74 is 121. So we're back to 11 times 11, 9 times 9. And we end up with 262 days. Now the question is, why is there 288? There's 288 days. When you take out the dice cube, and you use the dice cube, okay, this dice cube will have a 3 and a 4 on one opposite side. It'll have a 2 and a 5. And then it'll have a 1 and a 6. Now, I'd like to get a cube out. Just give me a second. Can't find any cubes. Wow. Just give me a second, all right? I've been here for an hour and 20 minutes. There's got to be a cube somewhere. And don't think that I don't have 100 cubes in the house. Here. Papers that I'm behind with. Papers and papers. I went through more papers in the last year. I went through more paper in the last week than I studied in school. I just want to find out where this is. It's got to be somewhere. There's got to be a couple of cubes somewhere. Well, come on. Okay, I'm going to go look in my purse. Let me go look in my purse. These are just a few things. Pink. Pink. The 50. That's the passage. Why is it pink? Look at the train. Did you ever look at these? Look at this close. Look at this close. Monopoly is like almost everything. So I'm going to just take this off. I haven't even had time to get through even this sick bow. And this skip bow is more than we think, because the bow happens to be with Venus. So we're going to go through my purse now and see what's in my purse. Let's see. We got some pens, wallet, Bin Laden smoking a joint, a square. Here's my square. More stuff, a little bit of paint, lighter. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Grinder. Oh my God, there was stuff in it. See the way the grinder's made? They intertwine with each other. Whatever's not here is here. Whatever's not here is here. Here's the dice. I always want to have more dice. I want to have at least one more dice. Or at least one more dice. Or how about the world? Or another dice. Or another dice. This is what I was talking about as 80. 20, 40, 60, 80. Here's your turnstile in the center. This will turn, and everything else, while this thing turns inside of it, these are turning one this way, one this way. They're not connected. They cannot be connected. The only way they can be is this is central. This will turn, this will be on one side, this will be on the other side, this will be in the center. That's where this finger comes in. Although the thumb and the pinky are both at the two ends, it's the center that spins. And there's not only one, there's more than one. So here we have our 3 dice. There's your 121. Well, then are you seen it? No, you're not. Oh, I showed you this. Look, 1, 2, 3. Look, 3 not used because they're occupied. It's been occupied. 3 parts of space is being occupied for 3 parts. So you're actually getting 50%. Here's your 121. I wanted to show you the 7, okay? I'm going to show you the 7. I'm going to show you the 7. I'm going to show you the 7. 1, 6, 1, 1, 1, 1. So here's your week. Here's your 7 days of the week. Okay? When we do that, we already got Hoover Dam. And then on the other side, we automatically have to have 2, 4, and 2. There's your 8. The 2 worlds and the 1 in man. Your spirit, the 6, if you take a look at your spirit, we need to have creation. Automatic, we take it, we turn it over. There's your 3 for creation. Your 5 bunches up to 2. Your 5 and 2 is Venus is always sleeping. You're always running by 5. Venus is awake only in you. When we take 6, the representation of 6 is 1. If you take a look at that, that 1 does not interfere with that 6. That is your 16. That is the letter P. When you add up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and the cue ball, which wasn't marked, is the 16th ball because it's not the 0 ball and it's not the 1. It would be 16. There's your 16. Now you take your 16. You take your 16, I'm going to try and see, and your 262 days makes 288 days. 288 multiplied by the 1.25 of the difference of the moon at the end of the year equals to 360 days, the day Jesus was born. That should have been day 1. The minute Jesus was born, that should be day 1. They should always regard that as day 1, but they don't. So we get 288 from that. Now the question is again, why? Well, when we use number 4 of Mars, it's opposite of the number 3 of Earth. So the sandbox and the prism work together, in which we double up in the corners. 2 and 2. If all these were worth 5, we'd have 10, 10, 5, 5. So we'd have 10, 5, 10, 5. But wait a second, 10 is 1 plus 0. We'd have 1, 5, 1, 5. Jesus, 1, 5, 5, 1. Off the dice. Then we take number 2 and number 5. The 2 disappears completely inside the 5, or we need to add 3 to the 2. So now we have 3 onto the 2, 0 onto the 5. We have 5023 or 2305. And that's about the time Moses was born. So we notice what we do in the dice. So now we're going to go 3, 4. We're going to go 4, 4, and 3. We use 4, 4, and 3 because we need we need to, this side is 3, 3 because of your thinking, you're awake, you're thinking, and this side would be 8, 11, and on this side is 10. 10 and 11, add up one of these, it equals to 21, same with this. Now on this side you have 14. This is man on the cross. You have this side, you have outside 6, you have outside 2, the same thing for the 6 and 2 and 2 and 6 that we were talking about earlier. The reason we add the 16 on is because the man's life has to get on 1 and 6. Now if we add up 1 and 6 all the way to 16, that will total 136, or the 6, 1, and 3 laws of Moses, or the reason for the football, 6 points, 1 point, and 3 points when you play the football game. We can flip these dice into anything you want. I don't know the combination. You want to go 6, 5, and 6. 6, 5, and 6 will automatically give you 121 again. It'll give you number 23. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 and 2 is 5. 11. 3 by 2. 3 plus 2. 11, 11. Now if you take this dice on the same thing, you can see it, right? You see it? You see it right? You see it right? It hasn't turned? What does this side say? 6 and 5, 11. 6 and 5, 11. 5 by 6 is 30 of your creation. Plus 5 and 6, 11 is 41 on the right, 41 on the left. The same 41 as we had over here. 41, 41 is 82. 82, 28. It's a cycle of the moon. 28, 82. Now, if you take 282, it's the 47 of time. Times 3 creation is 141. Again, back to 1, 4, and 1 again. 1 times 4, 1 plus 4 is 9. Do it again on the other side, you got 99, or 909. 909 is 303, creation of creation, which is 9, 10, 9, which is the cycle again of the moon. 19 plus 9. 19 plus 2 is your beta, because you are that 2 for 19 in your mind makes you 21. And you again, your 9 birth with the 10 house, and the 9 and the 9 and the 9 and the 9 creation because of 3 by 3. 5 by 2, 3 by 3, again 5 and 3, the way we use it because of the same cycle that's on here. There's a couple of more things I wanted to mention, but one thing I was going to show you was this is what really you can do pi with. You can either skip one or multiply. When you multiply this part of pi, first of all, this 4, the first 4, you need the first 4. After that, you go 9. We only have 8 here. That most of the players show 8 because the 9th is inside the 1. We have 8 letters open, 8 numbers, 9, 3, 3, 3, 6, 9, 6, 9, 6. All pi is a repeat of these numbers here. If you bring pi to the 7 world on these numbers, 4, 4, 4, and that's the space we have, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1. 7 and 1 is 8, boom. 7 times 1 is 7, 8 and 1 is 15, 1 and 5 is 6, 6, 6. This is the geometrical tree. This is the roulette wheel. I didn't make the wheel. I didn't make the odds. I didn't create the dice. I didn't make the baseball. I didn't make the telephone. I didn't set up the numbers on the telephone. I did not set up the numbers on the keyboard. I just show you all of these. Now, the new thing I haven't worked on yet is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, here's the number sign. It's W-E-R. S-D-F. Z-X-C. Now, what's funny about that? What's funny about that is that this is Z-X-C. The Z is the dog. The X is the cat. And this is the creation of beta of the Venus world on the cross with M, C squared. And I didn't set up any of this. You think I made this overnight? You think I changed anything on the keyboard? I don't think so. I didn't draw things from nothing. I drew them from what the 50 stars of the United States design. They design, I made a little error, but you can do whatever you want in here. The end question is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, well this is 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2. And Stuart, Terry, okay, and this guy, it's hard to take this guy for real. It's hard to take, but numbers, When you want to take numbers now and bring them towards the Bible, this guy is outstanding. This guy, I mean, I'm not saying like who does he think he is, but he knows his numbers. His numbers are, because when he does his numbers stuff, he's on Facebook, Stuart Terry or Terry Stewart, he just knows. He just knows, but he doesn't know the comparison. You can't just go by the Bible. You have to go by the reality of what we all live by, because our brains click on what we can understand and see. And, oh, you didn't understand me. Oh, let me start all over again. And I don't even know if this tape is going to upload, because sometimes all I end up being is a mouse. A mouse in the house. Chris the Bird, he's talking about horses. Old Seville. Songs, you want to go about songs? Wherever I walk, whatever I see, whatever I do. When you see this, you automatically know there's one that fits in here, one that fits in there, one that fits in there. I'm just going to take a quick look over some stuff to see. Uranus. It's got 2-letter U's. Equals 42. 14, 14, 14. 13 and 1. 12 and 2. 11 and 3. 10 and 4. But the 10 and 4 has the 0, because the 0 gets the 5. 1 and 5 goes into your head. The 10 card and the 9 card. The 10 card and the 9 card. Well, that's what I started doing. When you draw the 10 card and the 9 card, this is the 10 card. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 10 card and this is the 9 card. This is the reason you need this. This is the reason 4 times 9 is 360 degrees, to make the complete circle. But don't you notice something that's missing from 360 degrees? It's ABC. You only can start at D. That's why the 360 degrees cannot exist. It must be this. It can't be it. We're going around the racetrack around the sun. We're not going around the baseball. So this is what must happen. This is exactly the 9 and exactly the 10. Now what happens is this is the 9. Now we have the 5. You understand where we get the mind that rotates everything? This and this will make, this is your 9 card, this one here and this one here. These are 2 beta houses. Okay, did you notice my 8? We have to put 2 of these together, because this is an expression for one side, then it's an expression for the other side, so you end up making it together, you end up with your 88. Except there's a little space in between over here, this space, that creates this star. Have you ever seen this star before? Creates this star. Feeding off this system, feeding off this system, feeding off this system, and feeding off this system. Because this is actually this. This is only because these balls are together. I just showed you it separately and what's left over. This is 2, this is 4, this is 6, this is 8. We don't go here. We don't go here. We only go here. And we tear off these 2 cycles over here. This is your 10 and 9. When I add my 10 and 9, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 4 here, and 4 here, and 3 here. So now we take that we know we have that, and now we're going to take 3, 4, 3. Now the question is it 3, 4 like this? Is it 3, 4 like this? Or is it 3, 4 like this? Do you see the way the dice are? I'm putting them down. You see the way it creates the down motion between going here and over here and up? I can put it like this, but the cycle is off. I'm going down, I'm going across, but I lose myself here. I can't go up. This one has no rotation. I would have to turn it to the 3. So we're going to turn it to the 4. We have 3, 4, and 3. So now I have a different cat that's up here. Can you give me a couple of minutes? I'm almost done. Look at the cat's hair. Look at the cat's hair against the camera and the light. You see what it does? It's a formation. It has 11. All my cats have number 11 on their back. Here's 3, 4, 3. When you have 3, 4, 3, you have 1, 1, 6. K, 9. Well, when you put them together, it has to be K9. 1.5 times 6 is 9. 1.5 times 6, 6 and 1.5 is 9. 4 and 1.5 is 6. But you can't do it to any other number. 4, 6, and 9. You can't do it to any other number. So now we're going to take back in this, we're going to go to 3, 4, and 3 again. You have 1, 1, and 6. You have your 3, 4, and 3. You have your 1, 6, and 6. And you have your 3, 4, and 3. 1, 1, and 6. Oh, there's more to it than that. And then on this end is 2. And on this end is 2. So these, the 2's do not count because the 2 runs in 5, and 5 is complete. You see the way I made this? This is your C. This is what you can do to make your C. When you take this C and put it to the next 5, you have your cycle. Now you have your cycle which transfers across because they come together, the 2 worlds. You see what that is? That's the hexagon. The hexagon comes around, and the hexagon comes around, and it makes the sword. But the same thing as the hexagon comes around, you see the hexagon? But let's do this. Nah. Let's do this. Nah. Let's do this. Okay. Let's just go out here. Okay. Let's follow this line. 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 Okay. Continue the lines. There we go. Magen David. Trapped inside a box of 1111 because the Magen David is the train tracks of 1111, and the short sticks that cross a line are the support sticks. The rails support on each side, in which when you support the rails on each side, it brings the element of the ground. You want to see this? Is so funny. My cat is... Okay, that's it. Here, you really want it? You want the jack? Come on. Here. Here, do you see this? Here, come on. I threw it on the floor. Don't look at me like I'm nuts. I got 600 different people that come on here to look at me every second day. And they know I'm nuts. And you're looking at me if I'm nuts and you don't even understand, eh? So anyways, we did this, we did that. Support of a ball. You don't support a... How do you support a ball? It doesn't support in this. This is for your mind. And it's supported by the knowledge. It's supported by the knowledge. Is this the way it goes? Or is it this way? I think, no, it's this way, it's this way. I blow up my nose, it goes up both sides. Both sides of my mustache. I do the final thoughts within here. The final thought is my choice. The blowing of the nose, the horns, the ram's horns, the ram that goes up the mountain, the lamb that stays below with the wool pulled over his eyes until he goes up the mountain himself, who climbs the ladder to see actually what's going on, so he starts to think. Starts to pull on his mustache on one side, pull on his mustache on the other side, scratches his beard, tries to figure out what's going on. Went in one ear, went out the other ear. That's only because you can blow out your ears. So before I end this video, what I want to say is that Earth was a cap that they capped right onto the top of the world. They capped the world off in Quebec. They capped the world off on the other side in the frozen tundra, where you can't see, and over time the dreadlocks were lost. We were capped. We brought into this world as a cap, sewn together for a reason. They put a ball, but you don't see the delta in between the delta. The hat is sewed together in pieces and parts, and so is this earth. This earth was not blown here by a big bang. The only bang they had was blowing their nose and moving the islands apart. If this world is made the way it is, there's metal beams underneath. That if you want to know where Atlantis is, it's been in the earth all this time, except the earth that it's in is underneath the water, underneath the oceans. They lowered these planets, or this earth, in order to live here. We might just be part of another planet, but earth might just only be the dust. The oceans and the waters that are in our mind, and the electrical that goes through our mind with all the salts we take, because they say our minds will not work. Well, first of all, we have to function in this world, and they change something in our brain. The salts that we get and the salts that we eat, everything is wrong. If we're supposed to live in a world to live, they should be giving us the salts we need to live. They shouldn't make us live and work for everything that we work for. But if we wouldn't work for everything that we needed, we would never learn what it means to be a soul person. So in one way they need to take it from us, and the other way they want to take it away. And the other thing, oh, I can't believe it fell on the floor. And the other thing, I have a book here which says The Jewish Marxism and Socialism of Communism. How the devil came in here and when he came in here and how he had so many years to live. Hey man, if there's a God and created us, he created the devil and it was one of his sons, and he says, okay, try and do your best to my people. And my people, you must do your best. When you get married and find a wife, it starts off the leg of having a reason to live. Because to be alone and be alone all the time, it's not fun. That's why I have all these cats. They make a mess, and I'm just busy cleaning it up all the time. The socialism, 1900, 1800, 1900, 1800. Where's the devil in the year 3,000 years ago? Where's the devil from 3,000 years ago? The Messianic world, World War I, 1769, Bonaparte. They have all these creators. They gave us all these scientists. They gave us all these painters. Yet everybody's only in the last few hundred years. Where's the rest of North America? Where is the rest of the world if it didn't come from the Middle East? Why is it the Middle East? Because they put the left on and they put the right on and they capped both sides off and they created this planet from however they did, and it's the most fantastic place to live when you've got a heart and you have good judgment and you have love within inside of you. It's, oh, this cat is so precious. Look at my little baby cat. Come on, look. You have to look in the camera. Look in the camera. I've never had such a beautiful gray one before. Oh my God, the cat sees, I think the cat sees herself on the TV. Oh yes, for those of you who have never watched my videos before, 641 is on the wall, and that's for tomorrow night. Some of a little bit of a dabble. If you want to know, okay, I've never painted in my life. Never painted in my life. And the only reason I can do anything I do is because of numbers. Because of angles, because of dots, because of the possibilities. If it wasn't for the possibilities of what I could and couldn't do, I couldn't do anything at all. And I think I can do something, and whatever it is, I don't know who I am, but I do know what I'm doing. I'm studying everything, and I'm going to put anything I find on here. I will crunch the numbers, irregardless of what they are. I did the piano, and I'm going to do it again because I don't like that I did not give a whole seminar on it. I don't like that I fit it in between other hours and other things. I want to break it down and show you that Rubik's Cube, the piano, pi, all have a relationship in expressing creation of ESP of the DNA strand. Where does ESP come in? Because every time you multiply a number by 3, it will always be 3, 6, and 9, Earth, Saturn, and Plutonium. Pluto. I'm sorry, I wasn't allowed to say that. Uranium. I didn't want to say uranium. That was Uranus. No, my ass. Uranium up my ass. Plutonium and uranium. What other chemicals are hidden? Hashem chemicals. Menachem, Mena bacon, Mena what? Mena chemicals. Mana, chemicals, chemical mana. Hashem, repeat all the words of Moses. Repeat the words of all the saints in the Bible. Watch out for how you spell them, because sometimes S and C and H seem to be in the same cycle. And clone. Or did I say clone? Did I say cyclone? Or cyclops of the one eye of man. The cyclops. Is this the way it would be? The bridge in between your nose is your last decision. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. I want to thank you very much for whoever started. And for those of you who have ended, you'll actually see that I thanked you, but I didn't thank you as much as I will thank you now. And for anybody who was able to put up an hour and 44 minutes and 44 seconds, I thank you. Tomorrow is a super day to watch football. And tomorrow is the day that I had that dream, a very ugly dream, that will not happen because it's so ugly that if it did happen, we'd have to get out our umbrellas and our rowboats. Because if you thought Fukushima was bad, something between Kansas City, the Great Lakes, Niagara Falls, and Hoover Dam is going to be twice as bad. What's dragging along the oceans and the coasts is Fukushima. So the water, Fukushima, guidance of the winds, the blowing of the winds, because the winds are created, the weather is created the way they want us to have a weather of the day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Where are you, Cat? Where are you going? Thank you for watching.